चश्माए हिदायत जिसको हो ये इनायत है चश्माए हिदायत जिसको हो ये इनायत ये हैं खुदा की बातें इनसे मिले विलायत।
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Today we'll be going through how to write the word Allah. First of all, we write the alif. So, as you know, the alif has been practiced many times by everyone. You draw the head of your alif by going up, then bringing it down. Then I'll go through the proportions afterwards. Then we draw the central shape. With a slight slant. Then you bring it up. Now when you're writing, bring it slightly higher up than where you were before, because then you have to draw the head which brings the letter up. Then you bring it down. Cut it off slightly early. Bring it up and start curving it. And don't bring it too high up. You can draw the head. Then bring it down. Lift your qalam slightly off the page and bring it up and fix the bottom part with the bottom of your pen. Now over here, we only have one dot. We have 1.5 dots over here. We have a 2 dot depth over here and a 1.5 dot depth over here. It's written on a slant, not on a straight line. It's written on a slant. Then you have the 1 dot depth and you bring it out with a 2 dot depth over here. Then you have the 4 dot length of the lam. Then you have your general alif depth, length, which is 7 to 9 dots. And you can see that it's at different levels. As I'm showing now. All of these are at different levels. Then you have the slant over here. You can see that is going up. As I mentioned over the lines over here, again, this is not a straight line. And they almost produce triangular-like shapes. This is how you write the alif. Now if we go to the different diacritical marks that I used. We write this literally almost like the Allah itself. Then we have our Fatha. Then with the big qalam again, you can draw then we draw this ha. And you can draw the general decorational marks as well. So this is how you write the alif, and if everyone practices this, it will be very good. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to cover the last few letters that are left in the series of individual letters. So first off, I'll start with the sheen. Now with the sheen, you'll notice that first we have this small shape like this here. Not any bigger than one dot. Then we do an overlap of that small bit. And bring it up like this. Then we go at quite an angle. If we look at the exact angle, it is almost 45 degrees. So if you make a 45-degree angle by making an L shape, then put your qalam that way, and notice at the movement that we are going. Straight down, then thickening out. Thicken this area if it's not too thick. And curve off this area, the top of your qalam. We go and make the, if you remember the noon shape, we make a shape very similar to that. But yet it is quite different, because the proportions are different. This is your sheen. Now if we look at the proportions, it's 1 nukta here and 1.5 nuktas here. Now the shape is not on a straight line, because you can see the gap there is on a slanted line. All the areas. And this top part here goes down like this. You start over here, then you bring it down. It's not really at the same level. Then we have a 5 dot difference over here. And the depth from the point where we stopped is 1 dot. Indentation from the bottom is 1 dot, and from the khate kursi is 3 dots if we include that top one. That's how we make the sheen. Now the sheen in itself, if we have it in a letter combination, we'll do it like this. Let's say I'm connecting it to a ya. Bring it up like this, pointing towards the shape. Bring it down. Make the 1 dot difference. Do the same angle. Make the 1.5 dot difference. And then connect to whatever other letter I have. But this is the scene combination. So you can see again, it's on a slanted line. Never write it fully straight, but do not make a great steep incline of a line. Now let's move on to the sad and the wad. Start with a thin line. Bring it up. Bring it down. Stop. Then over here what we do is that we bring it down like this. This depth here has to be 1.5 dots. And the half dot distinguishes between this line over here. Now, if we look at this as a shape, it's almost a fish kind of shape. And this kind of technique was used a lot by calligraphers by using everyday kind of objects and animals and comparing it to the letters. Then we do the same movement that we did over here. Again, I'm doing this very quick so we get a taste of all the letters. Incline, 1 dot. Area from here to here, 3 dots. Then the area when it starts going down is 2 dots. Again, 5 dots, 1 dot depth. That's your sword. And if we look at the connection, then we'll notice that would be, let's do like a ba bois or ba sword connection. Bois. Bring it down and stop. Then we connect like this. Bring it forward like this. Over here we need to make sure that we have the point coming out, and then connect to whatever letter you want over here. Again, always keep to the proportion, 1.5 dots. Draw the head. From the line, we normally have a incline of half a dot. And we have the same proportion of 3 dots, and over here we have the 2 dots over here. So that's the connection that we have over here. Then what we can do is that we can write the ya. Ya is the last connection left, last word that we have left. Now, the singular ya can be drawn in 2 different ways. One's like this. Bring it up, bring it down, stop. Very similar to the kaf connection. Because remember we did the kaf and then we brought it out like this. Then do the similar movement, bring it across and stop. Just after the beginning point of our letter. Then bring it down and slowly bring it up. The whole word, the whole letter is in 5. We have 1.5 dots over here, incline over here, right angle triangle, 1 dot gap over here, 1 dot depth over here. We have a 3 dot space between the central body and the end tail of the word. And this general shape is 5 dots. That's one of the ya that we can write. The other ya we can write is like this. Bring it up. Bring it out. Then, in a fairly straight line, bringing it up more as we go along, that is your ya shape. Now this again implements the fish shape that I was talking about. This is how the traditional calligraphers taught their students. You can see that it's not fully straight. We are bringing it up, just like the shape of a fish. Proportion wise, the initial part is 1.5. The gap over here two dots depth, 3 dots along, 3 nuqtas along. The thickness over here is 1.5 dots. And we lift it slightly. This line, again, there's no such thing as a quarter dot in calligraphy. This line over here, this small dot over here represents the curvature. If it was a straight line, I would never draw this. This is to represent the curvature of a word. Now, if I have a ya in the middle of a word, then all I would do is make it just like one of these shapes over here, like the scene. For example, if I now connect all 3 of these words into one word, how would I write it? This is the beauty. Ya at the beginning. Then, this is part of the ya. Bring it down. Draw the scene. Remember the 45-degree angle? Then, do the connection of the sword. I'm doing this very quickly so I can just show you all different ways that we can write these kind of words. And then now this is all 3 connections. Alhamdulillah. Now let's go one by one in terms of proportion. The beginning ya is always 4 dots. Just like if you had a ba connection. It's 4 dots. For example, in the Rabbi Yasir wa la tu'assir Rabbi tamim bil khair, we notice that this connection up to here is what is repeatedly written by the calligraphers. And if you practice that dua, if anyone needs it, let me know and I'll put it on the group. But if you practice that, that is what the calligraphers used to normally do even before the letters. We have a 1 dot gap over here. Now this line, this point over here points towards the beginning. Watch how all the words point towards the beginning. No matter how far out they are, they're always pointing towards the beginning of the shape. 1 dot here. 1.5 nuqtas here. Notice how this part is not on a straight line. It's on an angle. Then we have the 1.5 nuqtas over here. 3 dots, 2 dot proportion over here. This is how you can write all of them together in one form. Now these are all the connections that one can go through and one can do. And I urge everyone to practice this very carefully and does this very carefully and repeats it again and again. And that's the beauty. A quick tip I'll give you, just because it's near me, so I can show you as well. Sandpaper. Now, sometimes people are saying that I might have to replace my qalam. Now, there's no need to replace the qalam. If you have ones like these, if this gets damaged, then of course you'll have to replace it. But if you have bamboo qalams, then you can just, number one, if it's extremely damaged at the top, you recut it by yourself. And you notice the angle that it's at. But if you have a qalam where there's been ink residue that has been drying up on top, all you do is get your qalam, 2 strokes one way, 2 strokes the other way, and you got a sharp edge now. So it's all about the maintenance of your tools. If you carry on doing this, your tools should remain the same. And I urge everyone to practice again and again. The more you practice, the better you'll get. That's a rule in anything in life. And inshallah, you'll all be better calligraphers than my unworthy self, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.